I would like to introduce you to Maria Alvarez. Maria is an extraordinary impact success story. She has been an incredible rising star. She's going to tell you how she did it, how she went from where you guys are right now in this challenge to where she is now, which is absolutely extraordinary.
Well, hello, and thank you very much, all of you, and especially Wendy, for inviting me in today. As you can hear, I do have a slight UK accent. I'm originally from Spain, and I am a burnout coach, as simple as that. I work with career women as well as business women, and I help them shift from where they are right now, which is living in a total ambiance of chaos, to move them to a point where they're just literally thriving without, ideally, having to sell their soul or their sanity along the way.
That's fantastic. I love that. Now, that is not what you were saying when we met.
Yeah. That is a gazillion light years away from where I was last April, I think it was, when I came onto Extraordinary Impact.
Yes, you were. So Maria was in my very, very first challenge, which was in April. So way back when, at the dawn of time, because 2020 was like 10 years in one, right? You were there. So now, like, if we actually go back a little bit further, even before we met,
yes.
Where were you at, in this time last year, like January, December, January of 2020? What were you doing then?
Oh, what do you mean? Other than pulling my hair out with sheer frustration, I have been running a coaching business for the last 3 years by January last year, and I was ready to take it online. So everything up until that point had happened through word of mouth, recommendation, great way. So don't think me ungrateful, but I was ready to take it big. So I decided to invest dearly in a program that offered me a big chunk of learning how to create my own copy. I spent an extortionate 10,000 US on a program that was going to take me 3 months, and it was possibly the biggest lesson I learned last year. I ended the course and I was still asking the question, so how do I do this? So it was extremely frustrating January last year when I found myself in that position.
Because you'd finished this program, an incredibly expensive program, that promised the moon, and delivered not that. Zero.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Not just that, but they encouraged me intensely on following down a path that, I'm sorry to be so blunt, but it was about selling unicorn rides, and that is the furthest of, that's not me.
Yeah. No, I remember they were trying to get you to be a confidence and abundance coach. Was that what it was?
Yes.
Which is not you.
It's not me. No,
it's not.
Me.
It's not what you do.
No.
It's not what where your passion is. It's not where your heart is. Your mission. None of that.
Exactly. But I didn't know that. So the plan continued even after I finished the course, and I still had all these questions. I didn't know that at the time.
You didn't know. Yeah.
So I carried on with my confidence and abundance little package, thinking this is it. And I noticed that I was still asking, but how? And I wasn't getting the message across. I wasn't attracting the right women that I was looking to connect with. And nobody really understood what I was about, or even where I came from. I know how to coach somebody in the area of expertise that I have. I have no question about that.
Absolutely.
What I don't know how to do is how to put that into words so that in those split seconds that I have to talk to my woman, she knows that I am her woman as well.
Yeah, you really get right to the heart, right?
And that was where I was really struggling.
Absolutely. So that's where you were. And then you met me and everything changed. No, then you came into the challenge in April. So you were right where these guys are. So you came into the challenge.
Yes.
And you went through the same challenge that they've just gone through.
I did. So there was a big difference. I have done many challenges, or may I rephrase that? I have started many challenges and stepped away from the great majority of them because they were awful. They were absolutely horrible. And I knew I wasn't going to walk away with anything that would add value to my day. The minute I'd had the first day within the challenge with you, I learned more in that first day than I did in the program that I spent so much money on.
It's fantastic and terrible at the same time.
So it's sort of, I left that first day of the challenge thinking, let's see what she does day two. Day two, you blew my socks off. Day three, day four, day five. By day five, I was thinking, well, if this is what she does within something that she's giving to me for free, this is the who is going to give me the answers to my how questions, because that's what I needed. That's the bottom line. And yeah, boy, did I make the right choice.
You got into Extraordinary Impact, and then how did that change things? What happened for you?
Oh, what didn't happen? Everything happened. I think what happened to me was that I had put a lot of trust in you before I'd even handed over money. So I knew in my mind that if I do what Wendy says, I'm going to get what I want at the end. So I was just focused on the result. Do what she says. Just do it. Just focus and do it. And little by little, everything was starting to come together. The interesting thing that I wasn't expecting is that quite early on within the program, I was already pushing out copy. I was so confident in the wording, in who I was talking to, why I was talking to them, and what I wanted to say to them. And we hadn't even reached the end of the program. By the end of the program, I had a Rolls Royce pretty much. That's what I ended up with. And I can tell you, I mean, if this was last April, it was only 2 days ago that I was pulling together some copy and I was diving into work from last April. So it is something that is amongst my most used files within my laptop, because I'm forever going in there, getting inspired, walking back out. This is what I need to tell them, and then dive back in. The investment in the course was the best investment I made in 2020.
Thank you so much.
Because here is where everything started to take shape for me.
This is where we really got down to what is it that you want to do? What are you here to do? And who are you here to speak to? And how do you talk to them?
Yeah.
You know, it's not about cookie cutters or mini-me's. I know that so many people are sitting there going, yeah, I've invested into this and the this and the this and the this, and they promised me the moon.
Mm-hmm.
And they gave me bupkis.
This does what it says on the tin. There's no question about it. And the value that it's added into what I offer, as well as the confidence in what I offer and what I do, has just gone mad in the last, especially at the end of 2020 and since the beginning of 2021.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I love that you said too about how you've gone back to that same stuff, because one of the questions people always have for me is like, what are we creating? And we are creating a lot of stuff, but it's not just the stuff you create in the moment. It's the fact that it's creating a bank of stuff to draw on, because you're going to keep creating.
Exactly. So I have a folder, which is where all my copy and library and everything, and it's actually called Wendy White. Because everything that I made in there, and even when I dive back in and I read things back, I'm hearing your voice asking me, it's not about you, it's about her. How can you turn this? How can you? So it's forever playing in my mind. That folder is, it's gold dust for me.
Well, I would love to hear like some specifics. We've talked about creating lots of stuff. We've talked about confidence, and I know that you've been talking about lately, you've been claiming really who you are and loving it. It's going well. But I know that people at home want specifics. They want to know about numbers. They want to know what you actually created, what you sold, clients, stuff like that. What can you share?
So the first thing to tell you, which I'm really, really proud of, is whilst within the program that I was doing with Wendy, I got booked for 2 events. Last year in total, I spoke to over 6,000 women through online virtual coffee sessions, and I was the primary speaker at those events, talking about corporate burnout, talking to women who are running and building their own business and the things to look out for, making sure that they're not going down into that chaotic muddle that burnout can create for us. So that's one of the biggest achievements for me, is having been able to spread the word so widely.
In these large events, and just to be clear, these weren't one-off 6,000 people. This was you speaking 3,000 at a time.
Around 2,500 to 3,000 people attending at those events. And the other thing that's happened to me that I'd be happy to share, perhaps some dollar signs with the group. I had my first 11K as in US month, which I was really pleased that I was moving for the first time into a 5-figure.
No, it froze for just 1 second. Say that again. You had your first 11K month. When was that?
In December last year. So it was the first month where I went over onto 5 figures, which I was really, really pleased with. And starting in January, I'm already over the 5 figures, as in that threshold.
And today's the 15th, so we're halfway through the month. It's only so, and you've already hit that.
I'm already exceeding what I did in December. So I launched 2 programs last year. The first one is a very intense 1-to-1 12-week program, and this program is 4.5K US. The second program that I launched, I refer to as the mini work edit, and it's a tiny 4-week program following one of your masterpieces, Wendy.
Start small, start now to create it, right?
That's the one. So that one inspired me to take this and to sieve out things that I wasn't talking about in that much detail, but I knew were going to be of interest in this smaller package. It's only 297 US, and that one's selling like hotcakes as well. The interesting thing is that it's not sustainable. So the next pivot that I'm taking, which is really exciting, is I've got another idea for a different 1-to-1 program that I want to do. And the mini work edit, I'm allowing a few more people to come through, but it's about to be turned into an online course.
Got it. Because you've now got so many people buying it, so many people doing it, and it's one-on-one work, and you're like, I am out of hours in the day.
And then there's my next course, my idea that's also come out of one of my notes within your folder in my PC. I'm thinking this is where I need to take this next thing.
I would love to know kind of what has been your biggest win?
I think when we dived into the avatar, for me, that was the biggest win. The way, and I had been through this process before, not only in the course that I had paid, but in other challenges and where I walked away and I still didn't know who the hell she was. And you helped me bring so much specificity in who she is. I even know the color underwear she wears. That's how much detail I know about her. And I love the fact that I know, because there's no hidden secrets. It makes it so much easier to then create copy that I know gets to her heart, but it comes from my heart to her. Yeah. The minute I narrowed it right down and I spoke only to those people who met that criteria and I knew who they were, that's when the money started to come through.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I really think it was that avatar that where that penny dropped, or what have you got that's smaller than a paper dollar?
No, a penny. A penny is ours.
You got a penny as well. So okay, so the penny dropped, and everything just tumbled into place so quickly and so naturally.
So, what would you say was different about this than things you had done before?
To start with, there were shy of 2,000 people on the other course going through the course with me. So I would have never in a million years been able to get the attention and the commitment from you in not just me, but my business in the way that I know you're able to do that. And I think in addition to all of that, the biggest difference is your methods. Your methods just do what they say on the tin. That's what we do.
Fantastic. Fantastic. So let me just ask you this, and this is the last thing I'm going to ask you.
Okay.
What would you say to someone who's sitting there right now and listening to this and going, maybe, maybe not, if they're thinking about it and they're hesitating, what would you say to them?
Okay. I'd ask her, do you want to make any money? Because if you don't, then don't do it, right?
Yeah.
If you're serious and you want to make money and serve those wonderful human beings that you want to serve, then get your copy right and get it right with someone you trust. And honestly, if you've given them anywhere near as much as you gave me in the 5 free days of the challenge, just being inside the program will blow your socks off and will really, really help you realize what the true potential is within your business and the ka-chings that are going to come through.
The ka-ching. Yes, the ka-ching. Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Enjoy the rest of the session today. Don't sit on the fence. Get into the program and start making some real money.
Fantastic. Maria, thank you so very much for being here today. It is fantastic to see you. And I'm thrilled to hear about your, even every time I talk to you, you're like, oh, and I did this. Oh, and I did this. And I'm like, wow.
I know. I'm really chuffed myself. I can't believe it sometimes.
Absolutely. You're such a star.
Thank you. Bye, everyone. Thank you, Wendy.
Bye-bye.